All right, let's watch this and we'll pause it and talk about it.
The design team now is much bigger than it was before in the studio. We've hired in specific areas to try and deliver the best games that we possibly can for...
Feature, everybody. We're trying to make it as good as we can make it. Thank you, Miles. Good stuff. Excellent news. That's a good start. But yeah, it's, they seem like they've hired a load of people. Like we've seen like Holly and Mike, etc. So I think there's some good signs in that.
For the people who are watching this video.
Does it feel that little bit different? Because I
Here he
think a
is,
lot
the
of
big
people,
dog.
myself certainly, were as soon as I saw that, I was really, really excited.
Immediately it was, how can we make this special? How can we...
So how different do you actually think it's going to look? What I might do, by the way, how does this sound for a video chat? What I might do is literally create a bit of a scene where we can run FM21 at the same time, not 21, FM22 alongside FM23. We'll do the same things in both games, or just, record both, and we can actually compare how they look together and see maybe a bit of a gameplay comparison sort of video. I feel like that would be a good video. How different do you think it's going to actually look? Tricky says not much, which, I mean, I'm hoping we're going to see. I want it to look and feel different, right? Feature, hire more people, yeah. Also, I think they're talking about the Champions League at this stage, right? When we talk about how we can incorporate this into a feature, is this the Champions League license?
Incorporate this into a feature or multiple features and really kind of maximize the value, not just for us, but for the user as well.
This big brand.
Is that, is this the Champions League bit here? What were they talking about at that part there? I'm not quite sure.
Everyone in
This is Champions League though, right?
Wants to reach the Champions League when they play Football Manager.
Maybe you've got long-term targets that you've...
So what was that first one? I don't know what that first one's about. It's very vague, isn't it? And of course they want it to be vague because they're going to do the whole video and then show us exactly about the features. But Champions League is good. It did sound like it could be the Champions League as well, right? Miles tweeted about how he's really excited for people to see how they've done the Champions League license in the game as well, which do you reckon... What could they actually do? Play the music as you're going into a game? Have the whole feel and like the UI when you're going into the game feel like the Champions League, which I think is good. It's like that's definitely something that we should be thinking about in the game. But is that a feature or is that just like a nice little looks nice sort of thing? The music. Also, how does the music work with the MCAs on Twitch and YouTube videos? Is that something that's going to be a problem going into it? Is it actually going to be something that we're going to have to mute because of the issues? I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't really know. When it's in a game, it's slightly iffy, isn't it? I know with FIFA, you have to turn the music off, so I'm not quite sure. The cup, I guess, has to be, otherwise it's no different to a logo pack, right? And I know that they're going to compare it to without logo packs, but they know the existence of these logo packs, right? What a time to return. Yeah, Holly, what a time to return. I'm excited for it, though, definitely. Like, it's a definite step in the right direction. I think the more licenses and the more realistic we can make FM look, the better, without having to go and do third-party things and, sort of toe the line of these things which are legal and aren't legal. It's not a great thing to have to do, is it? So more actual licenses, please. Good.
And how would my team look based around this new midfielder? So anyone on your shortlist can be brought into your planner at any time.
What do you think about this planner thing? I think it's really good for and obviously I don't know how it's actually going to be implemented and how it's going to look. I want it to be like a whole holistic thing, but I'm really excited about this one. I think this one could be really good, especially from a content creation point of view. Like, what I want to be able to do is like, what I'm imagining is like like a squad builder on FIFA where you can do concept players and things, like putting your midfielder in and seeing how they look around things. It would definitely look great on streams, right? On FM, instead of a spreadsheet, you can actually make it on the game. Because how many people go and make spreadsheets? I mean, how many of you guys make spreadsheets outside of FM when you're playing your saves? I love doing all that. If you can do that in the game and it's incorporated, definitely. I'm quite excited to see how this is going to be implemented. I would love it, and I really want it to be a thing that is something you want to use because it's a useful thing rather than a thing of... It's a great thing that if you really want to and it's a lot more effort, but people might not touch it. I don't know. I think bringing those things in is a good thing. Too many of us, yeah. It was very exciting to see all the Bundesliga graphics. So even that's... And with the Champions League will be better. Yeah, definitely. And how many times, actually? Going back to the Champions League thing, how many times have we had in the Hertha streams people ask me what skin I'm using, because the Bundesliga was licensed and the match day experience was really it looked good, didn't it? Everyone was like, what skin is this? This looks amazing. And it was the real game. It's just because it was licensed. So again, more licensing, the better, I think. I want it to be more than just a UI update as well. Yeah, agreed. As you saw, I don't know why I've managed to hover over the Go XLR thing there. Here's a link to this vid. Yeah, it's on Twitter. If you go to the FM Twitter page, Lulu, it's the pinned tweet on there. So you'll be able to see it there.
I really love the way it looks. When I saw it, I was like, I get it. Signing a bargain.
That's good, by the way. Like, you know my appreciation for James Alcott on this channel. If he likes it, I'm on board. Sold.
Integrating a new gen from the youth team. These are the things that like really excite us when we're making the game. And we wanted to have like a physical representation of that.
Is that still about the planner, right?
Yeah. Supporter confidence.
Yeah, I bet, Holly, I bet. And like, it's been so deliberately vague, isn't it? Trying to listen to people trying to figure out how things are going to look. I'm so jealous that you know about these things. What do you think of supporter confidence then? So I imagine this is going to be like your board confidence thing, but I like the fact that we're tying in how the fans are feeling about it. I think this is a thing that maybe it's obviously a little bit of it's in the game before, isn't it? You can go and see what the supporter confidence is. I'm not sure, is this like a flagship feature thing? But if it is a big change towards how you manage a team based on what the fans are saying and the supporter confidence, I think it's a good thing. It's definitely realistic. Just think of like the Glazers and Manchester United this year and stuff. I think supporter confidence is definitely something they've needed to do.
This emotional part that fans have about the game, about the club.
That's what I like that, by the way. It can vary to the board. I'll rate it. I think it will be able to. In fact, already in the game, if you look at like you sign a player, often the fans will love it and the board will not like it so much, or the board will love it and the fans aren't too happy with it. Already they do differ, so I'm hoping that they do differ. I don't know how that's going to be tricky to manage, isn't it, when you're managing a team? Like, the fans love it, but the board absolutely hate it, or the board really want you to do this, but the fans aren't going to like it. Sounds like a real management job then, doesn't it? Again, depends what you can do to influence it. Does it mean like signing a player? Does it whatever? We'll see how it's actually implemented, won't we? Separate supporter expectations, I think so. Surely it must be something like that, right? I imagine it's boosting what's already there, sort of like a deadline day to glow up. Possibly, Ollie, possibly, yeah. Not doing press conferences equals fans hate you. I hope that's not a thing. Like, to be fair, I actually hope that's not a thing. Maybe a little bit, but if we make the game slower and more admin-y, I'm not sure that's a good thing for the wider player base. Like, already, as somebody who plays the game a lot here, then press conferences are a little bit dull and samey. If they're not samey, maybe if they've got a little bit more, if they're a bit more dynamic, then maybe it's worth it. But doing all of them is just not, it's not feasible, is it? So I hope it's not because of that. But I don't think it will be. I think they're smart enough to make that not a thing. I wonder if there's a stronger emphasis for supporter-owned club, potentially. We'll see how it's done.
About the decisions that you take as a coach of a football team.
As much as everyone loves to go forward and press high and attack, we also want you to be able to kind of sit in a low block and be able to soak pressure.
Now, this one, if this works, this is huge. Being able to play defensively and actually win games would be a massive step forward. You say finally, Tricky. I'm absolutely with you, finally. I so hope this works perfectly. I so hope so. Because, I mean, it's bad for me in terms of showdowns and things because we just play all the strikers and all the attackers, don't we? However, having more... like, for years now, it's really frustrating that to be able to be successful, basically what you do is you play really attacking, you play a gegenpress, you play really high intensity, and it's going to be more effective. There are ways you can make it work with other things and play different systems, but it's not good when that's like the cheat code and the easy way to do things is using all of these, you know, attacking and gegenpress. I really hope that this actually works and a low block works and it's a bit more dynamic in between games and like, oh, actually this team's doing this, etc., etc. That being improved would be a real big step forward. That's really exciting. I think it's maybe my favorite of the features they've teased so far is the fact that a low block might work. However, we'll temper our expectations with this because I feel like this has been something that's talked about. Like, there are these systems in the game at the moment, aren't they? And they just don't work as well as the other ones, right? You can go and play a counter-attacking formation or tactic, And again, you're better off, even as a lower ranked team in a league, just playing attacking and winning games, but also losing a few more. You're going to be more successful. If you just went counter-attack entire season, you just get relegated. You can say finally, but FM18 was basically that and people win. So I'm definitely looking forward to it though. We'll see. Again, with all of these things, sound great. How they're implemented, we will see. And I'm hoping that there's going to be a few more on top of this. I think they've been deliberately vague, which is a good thing because it gets us talking. It makes us do these sections of the stream, doesn't it? And I hope there's more to it. Let's see. Was there anything else in this video?
As well,
Counter-attack.
So you have the tool to be able to defend as well as attack.
What would you say to fans of FM? Can they be excited this year?
I mean, they didn't say yes. So I hope the answer to that question is yes. I am excited. I did watch this and I know what people are always going to moan about everything, right? I watched this and did think, okay, there's enough in there to get me excited about a new game. I hope they can deliver it. I'm sure they will. That's all I ever ask about. By the way, there's the Champions League license product thing. Look on the end of there. Look, all I ever ask about from FM is just incremental changes. I don't think when people talk about wanting like wholesale, completely changing the whole game. Do you know what would happen if people did that? People would stop playing because they wouldn't understand it. It's a with a game like FM, it's a incremental, ongoing thing. And I think as long as it improves year on year, which it has, like people forget. Go back and play FM17 and you'll be like, oh, well, okay, the game has got better. So we'll see. I'm excited. Let's wait and see.